On my training runs, mostly I run through this green area, and a lot of people comment on that. I want to know where that is. It's in Vlaardingen. It's where I live. And a long time ago, in my videos, I promised that I would do a little tour of the rest of Vlaardingen. So today, let's take that tour of Vlaardingen. I figured we'd start here. It's the Diepenbrokstraat, which is the street I grew up on with the playground. It looks a lot different than it did back when I was little, but you can still see that it's the same street. We will start here at the Museum of Vlaardingen. It's a big museum that has different exhibitions about the history of Vlaardingen. Vlaardingen has a population of about 72,000 people. It's a pretty old city. And it has a large history of fishing, especially herring fishing. In this area, they used to make the rope for the boats. And you can still see, this is called the lijnbaan, where they would make the ropes underneath here. Up here behind me is the Grote Kerk, which translates to the big church. It is a big church. I think maybe they could have figured out a better name or a more original name. It was established somewhere between 1156 and 1164, so it is a very old church. Right across from the big church is City Hall. It used to be City Hall here in 1574. There was a big fire that destroyed it. They rebuilt it with the old stones, but then after a long time they took that down, and in 1650 this City Hall was built. And in front of the church is a Geuzenmonument, a monument to remember the Geuzen, the resistance group from the World War II. My grandpa was part of this resistance group. He survived the war, but he was taken prisoner. And if you're a Dutch speaker and would like to learn some more about this, I have a video online that you can watch. I'll leave a link in the description. It's very interesting. My grandpa's not around anymore, so I'm happy they documented his story. Now this is behind City Hall. This is actually the new City Hall, the city offices. They have a new building. I think it got renovated 3 years ago. This is the main shopping area of Vlaardingen. In a square called Veerplein. This is where the movie theater is. If you remember from last year, I organized a film festival that's held at the movie theater here. It'll be on the 7th of June this year. So if you're in the area, come check out the film festival. Okay, we're back at the harbor, and this is the Westhavenplaats, where a lot of the bars are in the area. So this is the nighttime spot for Fridays and Saturdays. And of course, during the week, if you just like to hang out at the bar. And it's across from the Visbank, which is a place where they used to go to sell fish. It's a national monument. There's a park in Holland that has miniatures of a lot of famous sites in the Netherlands, and the Visbank is actually in that park. Right now it's an ice cream parlor. And here behind me is the Stadschoorzaal, which is the city's theater. It was established in 1817 with a small theater, and then the larger part with the big theater was added in 1950. They closed down between 2005 and 2007 for a big renovation, and in 2007 it opened again, and they added the glass front and the big renovation inside as well. In Vlaardingen, there are a lot of monuments that remind of the war. A lot of places to remember the German occupation. This is one of the monuments, and we just had Remembrance Day on the 4th of May, so that's why all the flowers are in front of it. Of course, we're still going to find a green area to run through. This is Oranjepark, the Orange Park. Most people here just call it het Hof, the park. It was somebody's backyard in the 17th century, and the city bought it in 1830 and turned it into a public park in 1870. So it's been around for a while. Vlaardingen is near Rotterdam. It borders Schiedam on the east and Maasluis on the west. It's not a very big city, but it's a pretty old city. In 1273, Vlaardingen got its city rights from Floris V, the Count of Holland. So it's been a city for about 750 years. The area that is now Vlaardingen was already settled in 2900 to 2600 BC. In 1990, they dug up a skeleton here that dates back around 1300 BC. That's the oldest skeleton they found in the Netherlands. I didn't think we were going to do an entire run through Vlaardingen without seeing any animals, did you? Colorful benches were put in a couple years ago. and they show the history of Vlaardingen. That's pretty cool. Right there behind me is the old fire department. I don't know if you can see it, but at the top it says vuur, which is part of an art project that they did. Vuur means fire. There are a couple buildings throughout the city that have things that link to it. We'll show you the other ones. Now behind me you see the church steeple from the Catholic Church. It says Hemel on the side of it, which is the second of the four elements, heaven. Up there behind me, just above the houses, is the old water tower. It says water. It's not actually a water tower anymore. It houses a bar and restaurant right now. Here's the windmill Aeolus. It's been here since 1790, but there's been a windmill here since the 15th century. This one is still in operation. Behind me is the entrance to the cemetery Emmaus. It was opened in 1829. And it also has one of the elements on there, aarde, earth. We're now getting into Vlaardingen-Ambacht, which used to be a separate community, a village. But in somewhere between 1812 and 1817, they got added to Vlaardingen. And behind me there used to be the city hall for Ambacht, which is now where they keep the city archives. This is the Hogendorplaan. Don't worry, I'm not going to quiz you on it. But it's a small shopping street for people in Ambacht. This is actually where I had my first job when I was about 16. I worked at a green grocery store right around there. Now behind me here is indoor swimming pool, the Kulk. I actually never swam there. When I was a kid, there used to be an indoor and outdoor swimming pool on the other side of the road. On that side, the Koppelbad. So that's where we used to hang out during the summer. We're back at the city center. The beginning of the high street, big long shopping street. All right, that concludes the tour. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Vlaardingen. If you did, give me a like down below, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, get out there and run.